Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Junior.
And we're 2 days away from Elden Ring.
And we're
The Nerdy Bros. What's up, guys? Look at us. It's a day earlier than when you have to, edit the podcast. And we're doing the podcast.
Yeah.
Look at us being responsible. And we made plans to hopefully maybe get another episode out before next week so we can stay ahead like we always want to.
Yes.
Yes.
Like we've always dreamed of.
You looked at me as if don't tell them that.
Like we've always dreamed of.
We did it. What was it? We've gone through 2 different stints where we've been ahead for 3 weeks and then we just falter.
Yeah.
But we have been really busy. And I mean, we had the time, and I mean, I got out of work. I used some well-being time. I got out of work at 2 a.m. last night. Came home, directly went into D&D stuff. I wanted to play Horizon, the new Horizon all day, which we can get into in a little bit. But when I woke up, I was just like, there's more things I want to get done for D&D tomorrow before I reward myself with some video game time. And I'm actually, I mean, I was already saying it as I was doing it, but oh my gosh, am I excited to play tomorrow. Everyone is super stoked to be here tomorrow. So I'm just ready for that.
Again, but we have our own plans, and
you have your own plans, and that's fine. And I'm excited for whatever your plans are.
Okay, that's what I want to hear, because I feel like you're I've been working on some cool shit, and I'm just yeah, but we've already told you what we're planning on doing.
There's also shit that you guys can't avoid. You realize that, right? Eventually there's stuff that you guys have to
story.
do.
Yeah.
So, that's what I'm saying. Again, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
You just make it seem like we're going to do the things that you're working on tomorrow.
If you saw, everything that went
into
it, yeah.
But I feel like you just think we're going to get to do the things that you worked on tomorrow, and we might not.
Well, actually, one thing for sure you guys will get to see tomorrow, which I'm actually really happy about. And because I feel like I'm appeasing something that you kind of, talked to me about. But I don't know. I'm
getting my way.
I'm just saying. Well, it's like a funny getting your way because we had talked about this before. But either way, D&D's awesome. I was actually I watched Critical Role on breaks during lunch, and this guy Charlie that I work with, he was just asking me what are you watching? And I was like, oh, I watch a bunch of people playing D&D for the 55 minutes that we're on break. And I told him about D&D and how DM and stuff. He's like, do you feel like it helps you be a better DM? And I'm like, yes, of course it does, because it gives me a multitude of different ideas of stuff that they do, stuff that maybe I can incorporate. Maybe sometimes I haven't really I specifically one idea that Matt had, I took, changed, and made it my own thing. But I used something that he had done, because when we had played that one game where it was you, me, Megan, Brian sometimes played, and then Chuck and his friend Chris played that one time. I had done some puzzles in the dungeons you guys visited, but they weren't really hard per se. Usually relatively quickly you guys figured them out. There wasn't anything different. And then on one of the episodes I watched, they immediately were already saying oh no, Matt's got a puzzle for us, and then he brought out stuff for kind of an intricate puzzle for them to do. So I thought that was really badass, and I was like, this is kind of cool. I mean, it wasn't he brought out a Rubik's Cube and was figure this out or you all die, but it was something cool in game. So I don't know. We're older now. I mean, we were older back when we played last time too, so it's just I should give you guys something that's a little more difficult instead of just something that's quick and simple.
Yeah, I think one of the ones was you go through the door, and then you were you walk through, and then you came back to the same point, and it was you can either go left, right, or straight. And then it was I go left, and then you're you walk through, you come back to the beginning, you can go left, right, or straight.
Yeah.
And then it was figuring out which path it was, and then once you figured out which one it was, then you were all right, you made it out.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's always a tried and true good kind of puzzle too, of just trying to figure out where you're going. Full disclosure, that's coming up somewhere in the eventuality of the game too. Anytime you're in a forest, there's always pathways that you might get lost in. But no, I crafted a bunch of different things of just kind of looking at stuff of where certain enemies might be and all these other things. So I don't know. I'm just excited for the different things that I'm being it's literally from like the energy I was putting into DMing before to the energy I'm putting in now, it's like revved up by like 200% of what I was doing before. So it's just like I'm way more excited about doing like the work and then kind of seeing it unfold too, which is something that I wasn't really doing before because a lot of the other times it was all like, you know, barely any prep and just makeshift. Let's go, let's do this. But yeah. Anyways, back to our regularly scheduled show, guys. Welcome back to the podcast. If you guys haven't been here, if this is your first time, this is Nerdy Bros Inc. And if you're a returning fan, hi.
This is Nerdy Bros Inc.
This is Nerdy Bros Inc.
It's still Nerdy Bros Inc.
Yep. And we'll start things off just like always with something we like to call here is Junior's Hot Take. And this is part of the episode where we talk about something new and upcoming at Junior's Hot Take and hot opinion on it. And Junior, I wonder if you maybe saw this trailer too. But like I was looking up things like Vox Machina immediately got renewed for season 2. Everyone's waiting on a season 2 of Invincible. The Boys got renewed for season 3, and I think that comes out later this year, right?
I don't know. I
know they got renewed for it. However, The Boys are getting like an animated show.
I think I knew that,
but it's like not about like
because The Boys is a comic.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not about the characters we know though. It's going to be about like different characters and kind of same aspect, just gory, stupid, kind of fun. But I was watching the trailer for it and it looked kind of cool. I cannot remember what it was called, but to me, like I'm excited for it.
The Girls.
Yeah, no. To me, I'm excited for it because it reminds me of that show.
You sexist bastard! You couldn't remember it was called The Girls.
Is it that?
No, it's not that.
Okay, I was just like, don't just out me like that. Like I was just like, I know I'm not.
I don't know
what it's called. I forgot. But it's like that show I talked to you about. I think it was called The Crooks on Netflix. That's set in the universe.
It's called The Boys Presents Diabolical Trailer.
Okay, yeah.
It's a diabolical.
It's probably just called Diabolical.
The Boys Diabolical.
Yeah, not trailer. But it's like that
diabolical.
It's like the show I talked to you about, the Super Crooks on Netflix. That's set in the world of Jupiter Rising or Jupiter.
Yeah, Ascending.
Jupiter
Rising is a different movie.
Yeah, that's the movie. It's set in the world of Jupiter Ascending. Which was that Netflix live action superhero show that was like subpar, but the animated one, so good. Still highly recommend for you to watch it. But yeah, is this like, I mean, because I know that both of us love The Boys. So do you think this animated show is something that you definitely look forward to?
Well, like the other like Amazon animated shows like Haven't Let Down. And I haven't seen this trailer, but like I haven't been let down by the animated stuff on like the adult animated stuff on Amazon. However, like with it being like a spin-off, I don't know, like are they gonna well, you saw it, I haven't. Is there any overlap?
You
like
get to
besides
see,
the fact that they talk about Homelander.
No. You get to see Homelander. Like he's in the trailer, but I'm just saying, like obviously everyone else probably isn't as prominent. Or at least I'm assuming. Like the trailer's not necessarily super long or whatever, and there's obviously other characters that they introduce. But because I mean, obviously to stay true to like we've already got 2 seasons of the live action show going, so I don't think they're gonna start answering like just a bunch of like huge plot questions in this animated show that they put out.
Yeah, I'm more excited for I would say I'm more excited for the season 3 of The Boys than I am for the animated series, because without like getting too much spoilery stuff, there's like cult shit that like I hope it gets answered soon.
I mean, do you remember how season 2 ended?
Not particularly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, I mean, what was it? It came out. Season 2 was.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been over a year, I think.
Because, you remember how heads were exploding?
Yeah. Oh wait, no,
You find out who's doing that.
Yeah.
And then like, because I thought the cult was gonna be like some big bad, and at the end of season 2, it doesn't seem like they are. Like, it doesn't seem like.
What are they drinking? Like all that?
It's Fresca. Would you like a Fresca?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I do think that they're big. Yeah, okay. I'm totally remember the ending of season 2 now. Yeah. The Nazis were back.
Oh no! I was about to say that. I'm like, nope. That's part of season 2.
Yes.
But all right. So anything else to add to that?
Yeah, no. Like I'll have to watch a trailer to give any sort of like. I mean, yeah, like it'll be cool. I haven't been let down, but like for me to say that I'm like, oh man, I'm so fucking excited for this. Like, nah. Like cool. And if we watch it together, like cool, I'll watch it. But like I'm not like, woo, I need to fucking see this right now or whatever, anything like that.
All right. Moving things forward to
Anime is an important part of our culture.
the fan favorite segment. I do want to let you know. So I know you and Megan watched Demon Slayer on Funimation, right? You didn't watch it on Crunchyroll.
Well, I didn't watch it on any of that. Remember, it was before it was dubbed on anything.
Then what did you watch it originally on?
I watched it on some fucking website.
Oh yeah, you did watch it on, but you watched it on a website that had it dubbed already, though.
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, I was about to say the first season's dubbed on Netflix, but I'm pretty sure you watched it before then.
Yeah, I watched it before it was on. Like right after I got done, I was like, shit, it's on Netflix now. And then it was like on Funimation also.
Yeah. So on Crunchyroll, again, there's that one episode of the first part of season 2 that you need to watch. That's been dubbed for a while. But now, like this last week, and again at the end of this week, the episodes of this season are coming out. The like new ones are dubbed. So Crunchyroll's gonna have them. I don't know if Funimation is further ahead, but at the very least, like, you have a few episodes to watch.
I haven't checked on Attack on Titan in a minute either, but I'm waiting on that too.
That I don't know, like, again, I should have just caught up normally, because now that Demon Slayer's over, I really only had Boruto, One Piece, and Attack on Titan to be watching on Sunday, but I'm like an episode behind on Attack on Titan. Although I will say that it has been like the second to last episode that I just watched, or not second to last, I guess not last week's, but the week before that's episode that I watched had a huge cliffhanger ending. So I'm actually really excited to dive in. But it's just, I don't have enough time. I can't divide my attention like between so many things. Like you binged all of, well, okay, we'll get to that in a second. That's what I have for anime right now. I don't know if you have anything else to add, Junior, because I haven't watched anything else. One Piece still awesome.
Restarted watching Naruto because Megan wanted to watch it. So like Naruto, not Naruto Shippuden. We're gonna get to that, but I already pulled up a website that has all the fillers for both Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. So I was like, okay, once we watch episode 28, we'll skip episode 29. We'll keep going through. Once we get to this certain point, that's when we'll stop and we'll jump into Shippuden.
Yeah. I mean, it's like what's your rating?
Because I never finished Naruto.
Yeah, but what's your rating for like Naruto as a whole? I mean, you even started watching Boruto though. Like, is it definitely?
Well, because I fucking once I blew through it, I was like, I need more of this, and this is bullshit that it's just over now. And then I was like, Boruto, fine. I'll just start watching shit about his kid, even though all I really want to know is what happened to Naruto.
Well, yeah, because like at the time that once you started to really get into Shippuden, it had already been dubbed for a long time, so it was just watching all the episodes.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a fantastic show. So like, because I mean,
I thought it was awesome.
It took you forever to go from Naruto to Shippuden because you stopped at like this cutoff point where I told you, I was just like, don't watch anymore after this. Everything is basically filler. None of it is important.
No, so here's what happened. When I first watched Naruto, I was watching it on Netflix. Netflix only had like the first 50 episodes. Mm-hmm. So when that was over, that wasn't even to the furthest point that I had to watch. Like I watched all the way through episode 52 and then it was done. That was it. So then I stopped watching it, and you were like, you could really just stop. You could really just get into Shippuden. Like, I can just tell you like the big points of Naruto, and you can just start watching Shippuden. And I was like, no, I'm going to watch Naruto. Probably a year later, if not more, Netflix got more episodes of Naruto, and that's when I got back into it. Then I watched all the way up to the point where you were like, you can stop here. Just start watching Shippuden now. And I was like, no, I'm going to finish Naruto. And then I stopped. I stopped watching Naruto, and that was the end of it for the longest time. And then finally, I started watching Shippuden. And then I binged all the way to like episode like 100 or 121. It was like right after... the last episode that I remember watching was where... something happens with Sasuke. I'm not gonna say because Megan listens to the podcast, but Sasuke wakes up with Toby. That was the last episode that I saw that was dubbed on, I think it was Hulu, what I was watching it on. And then from then on, I had to watch it on a website again. I think now it's dubbed again on all these other ones, but I had to watch it on that because they didn't have it dubbed anywhere else. But I took a break once I caught up on Hulu because I was like, damn it, I don't want to watch it like on a website. I want to watch it like on a streaming service. So I don't want to have to deal with like all the bullshit on my laptop. And then I wouldn't be able to watch it on TV. I'd have to watch it on my laptop.
Yeah.
So that got really annoying. So I took a break from Shippuden after I got to that point. And then you were just like, you need to get back into it. And then finally, I don't know, however long, I got back into it. And then I just blew through it all the way. And I tried to watch most of the filler. But then when there was like huge things that was going on, and I was like, there's 40 episodes of filler. Like I was I fuck this, and I just skipped forward.
Some of it's kind of cool, and then other parts of it is just like, yeah, but I don't like. It's not adding anything to the story. And like you said, when you've like dove that deep and you're in the deep end of all of the story, and you know you can just get back to the story, like you don't want to waste time on the filler.
Yeah, like we just got done watching this stuff with Haku and Zabuza.
Did you guys finish that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And in like episode 8 or something, the first like 8 minutes like kind of like retells the story of Naruto. It's like Naruto is grew up with no parents, and Naruto, because it's right when he thinks like that Sasuke's dead, and it's the first time that it's the first time that he like lets out some of the chakra from
the nine-tailed
fox, and like all of a sudden, like the first 8 minutes of the episode, like Megan was like, we're already getting another backstory episode or whatever, and I was like, yeah, fucking just wait. Like sometimes you see something cool, and the very next episode is all flashback of just pieces of like 6 different episodes that you've already seen, where you're like, I don't need a refresher on this.
Sometimes you definitely don't need the refresher, but there are other times where that backstory does give out like a lot of information that you didn't know prior, though.
Yeah. So that's pretty much like all the anime. I haven't finished watching Claymore, even though I'm like more than halfway through that.
It's not necessarily anime, but like Brian told me there's a Cuphead show on Netflix.
Yeah, he told me about that too.
And I was like, what the hell? Like, I didn't even heard about it.
I think I'd heard about it, and because he might have mentioned it before that there was going to be one, but he was like, yo, have you seen the new Cuphead show yet? And I was like, no. But anyway, segment over.
Yeah, segment over. But like, kind of going into like what I was about to kind of dive into, it's just, it turns into like, I don't have enough time for everything. Like, you were watching the newer episodes of Rick and Morty last night.
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten to see that season. And then it's just like, now that Cuphead shows out, you binge watch the second season of Euphoria.
Well, the 7 episodes that are out.
Oh yeah, the 7 episodes that are out. You binge watch all of that, completely caught up, and I'm 2 episodes behind now. I watched 4.
Well, I was so sick and tired of I didn't want shit spoiled.
Anymore,
and I was so sick and tired of everybody being like, oh my God, this fucking season's so good. It's so fucking good. And like everybody was like, literally everyone was talking about it. Like, even when like we went to go visit our cousin for their kid's birthday party, and I took my kid, and they started talking about it, and I was like, la, 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 I don't want to fucking hear this. But they were like, dude, can you believe this shit?
Peacemaker, the first 4 episodes were awesome. I really liked the show. Like, I'm like 4 or 5 episodes behind on that now. I
haven't even started that yet.
I wasn't like gonna really even be like, I was like, you know what? I don't want Boba Fett. I wanted more Mandalorian. And now it seems like Boba Fett show has taken off and it's been completely awesome. I'm like, great, now I have to watch that. Amphibia got that 3rd season, which you got to binge watch. Yeah. I want to watch that. I've only watched the first episode. So there's so many things to watch, and I just don't have the time. 4 days off, I don't have the time. Like, and now especially like Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West came out. It has been so much fun to play. I can talk about it in a second. But it's also like, I'm not even upset about it. D&D has consumed my life. Like with, DMing and trying to be a good DM and everything. Like,
oh yeah, we're like playing weekly.
Yeah, which is, it's been so much fun. And it's just like trying to manage my time between like all of that and still trying to get done stuff for like me personally. It's just, oh God, man, there's not enough time. I just need to quit. I just need to quit my job, focus on my hobbies that don't pay me anything.
Yeah.
Yet. No. But
Yeah. So like, yeah, I binge watched it. I'll be honest with you, like the season's been nuts, but I feel like maybe it was just all the hype around it. I was like, man, this is gonna be the fucking craziest goddamn season ever. I'm like, it's good.
I mean, literally the ending of the first episode, it was so good.
There's been there's just been certain episodes. I think the last episode you watched was episode 5, which is
it's the running around town.
Oh, that no.
Yeah.
So you see the freak out
Yes.
at the beginning of the episode.
Yes.
That shit was fucking intense.
Yes.
That was like,
Yes.
holy shit.
Yes.
When she busts down the door,
Yes.
like with her fucking head and body, I was like, oh my fucking God.
It is a fantastic show.
Yeah.
Zendaya's a phenomenal actor.
Yeah, that was insane.
So I can't remember what the joke was now, but like people were like referencing like Rue, Zendaya's character on Euphoria, and they were just like, someone get Tom Holland away from us. And so like, and then like, there's been like interviews where he's just like, I keep telling HBO to get me on Euphoria. I want to be on the show.
Yeah, I think somebody said, and I don't know if it's photoshopped, I don't know what, but you haven't seen the episode. I'd have to like go back and freeze frame it to see if it's actually fucking true.
He like made a cameo.
But supposedly in the 7th episode, the one that I just watched, he's like because I told you it's like the stage episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like supposedly in one of the scenes where they show the audience, he's like way the fuck in the back row.
He visits all the time. He visits her on set all the time. Which, like, I mean, you know, celebrities, I'm pretty sure. Well, number one, they both phenomenal actors, so they're also working probably on stuff all the time. Most recently, I mean, he just. We still need to go watch Uncharted.
Yeah,
I
I
want to see that
know.
movie really badly. I actually was thinking, I was like, oh, maybe Junior and I can go watch it on Wednesday. And I was like, it'll be perfect. It's like, nope, just kidding. We didn't watch it today. But
I was just playing video games.
yeah. But like, I mean, number one, he's from England. She's from the U.S. So it's just kind of like, I wonder. I mean, I don't know if he like actually has a place out here.
I feel like the weird ass shit is like most actors that like are like that either split their time or like they're like, well, I'm almost doing movies all the time,
So I just
live in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But like some of them are like, yeah, I live in London like 6 months or England, and I live like 6 months in LA.
But yeah, they were in an interview and Zendaya talked about how like he visits her on set all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe he was actually in that episode. Not sure, but go like I was just thinking. I was like, man, it must be kind of hard to like watch like something like that. Like I understand
stuff
it's
like that
fake,
people, yeah.
but it's like, dude.
No, but it's meant to. I think it's like you have that shock and awe value, and it's showing you like things that either people have gone through or the way things can get that bad.
Yeah. No, I meant for Tom. To see, like, again, they're both actors.
No,
but
I don't know if I don't see, but I think
shit's nuts.
I think for him, he probably just sees it as like this is an amazing performance to like truly to know. Like,
well,
to
but
be
then I
an
remember
actor,
that he's also played a drug addict in the movie Cherry.
To be an actor and like have that level of professionalism, and then to be able to see someone else like and be like, yo, you know, I know you're my girlfriend outside of the show, but even so. Watching you in the show, like you made me, you know, believe that you're this character, even though I know we're just, you know, acting. And I think I don't know, it's totally like Oscar nominated performances.
Yeah,
I mean Emmy.
Yeah, I was gonna say. However, however, it's not a movie.
It's
so
not a movie.
Otherwise, like for sure. Yeah,
like she 100% deserves awards.
Yeah, the show is fucking nuts. Yeah, like I said, there's like certain episodes where I'm like, holy shit. And then there's other ones where I'm just like, it was all right. This episode was okay. There's like
no. Yeah, I
definitely
definitely feel that. I think it was episode 2. It was either episode 2 or 3 where I was just like literally after, no, I think it was episode 2. It was like, yeah, after how the first episode ended, like I expected so much more for episode 2, and I was just like, this one like sucked compared to like episode 1.
Yeah, you need to watch like this. You need to watch the 6th episode because some crazy ass shit happens. But then the 7th episode is just like really funny and just like fucking wild.
I currently have a watch partner for the show, so like I'm not watching it without them.
Oh, so they are also behind.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, like you said, I watched that, and then I started watching a few movies. I watched the new Kingsman movie, which was really good.
Very good.
I really enjoyed that. It's weird to see like Ralph Fiennes in like I don't know, like he played Voldemort and he's currently playing M in the James Bond movies.
He was also the Tooth Fairy in Red Dragon.
Yeah. So it's like seeing him in this, I was like, holy shit, he's like fucking booking it. I was like, this guy must have gotten like really good shape for like this role or whatever, because and fucking I feel like a piece of shit, so I'm just gonna fucking
wasn't he always working with M though, like before he became M, like even when they still were using the other M?
No, he was like overseeing it kind of.
Okay.
But he wasn't like
God, man. Now it just immediately made me think of the last James Bond movie.
Is it Digimon Honsu? His character, what the hell? Well, they end up calling him. He's the first Merlin, but like he was a fucking badass.
Yeah, which seemed like I didn't expect him to be Merlin. If anything, I would have expected him to be one of the knights, because like Merlin, wasn't he like he calls Merlin's the quartermaster? Isn't that? What
yeah. Like he's the one that runs the training.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess that's
which makes sense because he's the one that trains his son. But yeah, fucking that movie was awesome. It was really good.
It was so good.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to like go back and watch the post credit scene because I definitely didn't see that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that was. I mean, that might have just been a nod to history, and that's all it could have been. But it also opened the potential for another movie. But
which is funny because they did these two in the future, and they're like, here's the start of it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and potentially here's the next one. I don't know, but yeah,
I'd love to see it's Taron Egerton or Edgerton.
Yeah, Taron Egerton.
Yeah, I'd love to see him in another Kingsman movie though too, because he's awesome.
Eggsy.
Yeah, Eggsy's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I watched that, and right before that, I watched the Sopranos movie. What's it called? The Saints of Newark or something like that.
Didn't you say that's supposed to be the start of it, right? Of
yeah,
how, like,
it's like power? It follows it. Honestly, Tony Soprano isn't the main character because like he's like a kid and like a teenager.
Oh, he's not. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's supposed to be his.
Main character is the who was like the boss, the Don or whatever.
Do they call it a Don?
No, they like don't ever like really refer to it as that. They just call him the boss.
Oh, okay, similar. Yeah. What time period is it set in?
The movie?
No, like the show in general.
The show is like set in this late 90s, 2000s.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, the movie's like set in the 60s and 70s.
So like, and I mean, this isn't necessarily too nerdy, but sometimes like it's easy to kind of understand. Like you see it over the news all the time, like gangs and gang culture and all that stuff. Like sometimes I think like, is anybody even a mob anymore? Like, I like feel like, and I mean, organized crime is usually way more under the radar than like a mafia is more under the radar than like a gang might be, unless like it was back like in the 40s and 50s, because back then like being a mob boss, you were basically almost like a celebrity. Like everyone loved like Al Capone like back in the day and stuff like that. But it's almost just like I try to think about like what does a mafia even look like nowadays, and I almost can't even like imagine it. So it's I don't know. I guess that's kind of weird to think. I thought The
I
Sopranos.
mean, they're
was
definitely
set,
still out there.
yeah. But I guess I thought The Sopranos probably was set a little bit earlier than like the 90s or 2000s.
No, it's just. I mean, they're not as hidden as you think. Like, I feel like the government's like, we fucking know who they are. We just don't have anything to get them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why they're organized crime, though. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not like I mean to a common person, unless you live like in their neighborhood, like it's kind of the same thing. You always know like, hey, don't go here, or if you're gonna go here, make sure you're not being like a wise guy or whatever.
But anyway, so yeah, I watched that movie, and then I watched the Kingsman movie. And then, yeah, like, I started watching some of the Rick and Morty. I binge watched all of season 3 of Amphibia, which is just really funny. And
Great show.
pretty sure we've already talked about it, but yeah, it's just an animated kid show on Disney. But yeah, it's fucking hilarious. The main character is voiced by Brenda Song, aka London Tipton from the Sweet Life show. What was the other one? Wendy Wu, Homecoming Queen or something like that?
Homecoming Warrior.
Homecoming Warrior.
Yeah, that was the one of the Disney Channel original movies.
Yeah. So yeah, that show's great. It's honestly kind of got like some like a little bit more. It's like even though it's like a kids show or whatever, like it definitely feels more like almost a teen show.
Like I honestly, it's
especially the way that like season 200, I was like, oh shit.
It does the same thing that Adventure Time did. Not Regular Show. Regular Show has always felt to me like a teen show, and I love that show till I die. I fucking love Regular Show. But like Adventure Time with Finn and Jake started very like, oh, you know, super silly, and like they kept some aspects of it, but then they started like tackling like a lot of like bigger things, and you were just like, to a kid, like some of these episodes might not even make like sense. Like you have to have like a higher understanding to really appreciate like the episodes. So like I would probably, yeah, Amphibia is definitely like that, and I feel like Disney does that a lot too. You haven't even seen The Owl House yet, and I love that show.
Yeah, no, I haven't. So yeah, pretty much. Okay, so just real quick. Well, you get into what you want to say, and then I'll
so I wanted
I'll
to
say
talk
something real
about.
quick.
So I did see something because I know you came up and were watching me play a little bit when I was playing the Forbidden West, and you were talking about how you were just like, this doesn't seem like that different. And there were a couple people that said like, don't buy her like Forbidden West for the PS5, just buy it for the PS4. But it was just like, I have my PS5 already. I'm not going to switch back and forth like with new games coming out. Like, and I had already bought like a deluxe edition, so like it didn't really matter like at that point. It's different. Like, yeah, if you're just looking at both of the normal versions, you probably could have gotten away with just paying $60 instead of like PS5 games are potentially supposed to be like $70 now instead. But I mean, they've added a bunch of stuff. There is an ass ton of like new machines. I think like in the, what was it called? The Frozen Wilds was the DLC for the first game, right? I think that one only added like a polar bear machine, and then maybe like two others, or maybe only one other. I always meant to play the DLC before I played this, and again, just not enough time.
Oh, you didn't play the DLC either?
No, I never got.
I thought you got it. I thought you started playing it.
No, I kept saying I was gonna go back to just play it to see like what else it might have added to the story, and I never got back to it. They haven't mentioned it, so it's not like it seems like it was necessarily a big thing. But like, I mean, right away you could see first game didn't have any type of elephants, and we have a mammoth right here. In the trailers you saw, there's like a velociraptor now too. They have massive like turtles is one of the new machines. They have these like anteaters and kangaroos, and it was like just so many other machines that I just didn't expect to see in there. And I don't know. I'm having a blast with it. It is still very much, I will say, it's Horizon. They have added a couple new weapons.
I was gonna say they added like some new weapons.
They added new weapons. The skill tree, like compared to the first game, insane now. There's so much shit to upgrade. They added that game. What is it called? Something Strike. Oh, Machine Strike. They added Machine Strike, which is that game I was telling you about. I'm still just exploring everything. The one thing that they added that has only made me mad though, and like there wasn't really undersea exploration in the first game. Could you dive in the first game though? Yeah, you could, right? Mm-hmm. It's just nothing was really that deep. But you don't start with the like, because in the trailer you see that Aloy's got like something to help her breathe underwater. I don't have that yet. And there have been like multiple spots that I have found, like, I mean, because the way we played is like we explored the entirety of the map, avoiding the story and just leveling up constantly and just doing whatever, and just getting all the secrets early game. Now there's like story tools that you find that like you'll find a secret and it's like, oh, you don't have the tool to do this yet. And I'm like, am I fucking playing a Zelda game right now? Like, why can't I found the secret. Let me just do it now. I don't want to have to fucking come back to this. This is annoying. So that's the only thing I haven't liked. One of the things, so Metal Flowers was a collectible in the first game.
Yeah.
They're back in the second game. Except, you know how like when you walked up to a metal flower in the first one, it was closed?
Bloom? Yeah.
It would bloom. Yeah, these ones stay closed now, and it looks like whatever tool you get to make them bloom opens it, and then it also like clears like a new path too or something. So it's just like...
So you haven't gotten that tool yet?
No, I haven't gotten that tool yet. So it's just annoying to keep like finding all this shit, and I'm just like, I'm gonna have to come back to each and every one of these like after the fact. Then it almost makes me feel like
it makes you feel like they want you to play the story
first and then do everything afterward. And I've talked to you and on the podcast before that sometimes I struggle with that. That once I'm done with the game and I beat it, I tend to like, okay, I'm done with this. But then, I mean, you talked about, and I mean, PlayStation Access has early access to games, so who knows how much earlier Ash had it, because she had already said she got the platinum.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long
she said she got it like over the weekend, but it sounded like, I mean, as far as I know, she doesn't have like kids or anything. She's probably just like, I can just stay awake the entire fucking day.
I mean, that's
and play as long as possible and just pass out.
When a game is like, I love the Forbidden West. I love the first game, but like I won't say it's one of the games I've been most passionate about. Like when The Last of Us Part 2 came out, I played like I worked Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and I was playing Saturday, like at the start of the day, and I played for probably more than 24 hours, because I remember that I beat it, I got the credits to roll, and it was like noon, and I was like, okay, everyone shut up and leave me alone. I have to sleep for like 3-4 hours because I have to work later today. But like when I'm super into it, it's all I want to fucking do. So like with Elden Ring coming out on Friday, I'm beyond excited. I've seen so many people that have gotten like early access to it, like streamers and stuff, that just talk about how amazing it is, and I just, why can't that be us?
Yeah. So yeah, like we had talked about, I didn't get Forbidden West, not because I don't want to play it, but just because I was like, well, literally a week after that, Elden Ring is coming out.
Also, what the fuck? I got the $200 edition. They gave me a case. And then inside was just a code to download the game. So I didn't even get the disc. And I like my physical copies. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you should have gotten the PS4 version. I don't know. Maybe there was no disc. I don't know. Maybe fucking Elden Ring won't have any disc. Who fucking knows?
That'd be like... But then why even tell me about a case?
Just give me a box.
Yeah.
Just give me a box I can open. There's a piece of paper inside.
Well, like I even like this came with a really cool like steel bookcase.
Oh wow!
And it even looks
watch and see that, because I'm gonna be like, see, we should have just gotten it online, because it's gonna fucking drop tonight.
It like, and also like it comes with like the disc holder, like the whole like where a disc should be, and it's just like, no, here's this piece of paper with a code for you to download the game. Like, why? What was the point of that?
So what I was gonna say is that I listen to podcasts all the time. So I was listening to, especially on Mondays. That's like when I get like a lot of like cleaning done. I do like a lot of Monday podcasts and stuff. But I was listening to Dominic Monaghan and Billy Boyd, Merry and Pippin from The Lord of the Rings. They have a podcast together, and I'm blanking on the name. It's like Onion something. I'm blanking. But they had Sam Riegel, which is one of the cast members and creators of Critical Role. And
Vox Machina.
Well, yes, Critical Role, but yes, that led to Vox. Well, he talked about the inception of all that. So like, actually, it was Sam. Sam had a podcast with Liam.
Mm-hmm.
And Liam was like, hey, we should play D&D together. And Sam was like, what the fuck is D&D? And Liam was the one that introduced Sam into D&D. And then they were like, hey, we have other friends that also are voice actors, and they started playing together, and then they built it all around that. So like I feel like because Matt's the DM, Matt often gets like, Matt, the creator of Critical Role, and it's like, I mean, he's a creator, but he's not the creator.
Yeah, but like when you honestly think about it though, like Liam knew about D&D and all the players were happy to play. Matt had to like, okay, if you want to say like he wasn't the creator of Critical Role, fine. Without the world of Exandria though, you wouldn't have Critical Role, and Matt crafted all of that.
Yeah, but I think at first, because even they were talking about like at first it was just them just playing. Then
they played for, was it 2 years?
I was like, then
streaming?
one of their friends was like, you guys should film this and put this on Twitch. And it was on her channel on Twitch. And then they were like, no. And then they're like, yeah, you should do it. And then again, it sounds like fucked up because I don't want to be that type of person, but it's like, he was like, yeah, we started off small. We only used to have like 100 or a couple hundred people watching us. I'm like, how the fuck? I mean, yeah, compared to like the 50,000 or 100,000 that watch them now, yeah, that's small. But it's like, I would kill to have 100 fucking people or a couple hundred people or whatever. And then it's like, yeah, they were some of them are pretty famous voice actors. So it's not, they weren't fucking nobodies.
Yeah,
or
they
whatever.
had some type of a following.
Yeah, they had some type of a following. So he was like, we started off kind of small. And then, eventually it started to grow. And they actually had the idea for animated Vox Machina show way back when, like a few years ago.
But I mean, it takes a lot to get it.
No, so they shopped it around to they were like, hey, we have this idea, this many people already like us, blah 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 blah. They went, he was like, we went to like all the streaming services, Netflix, Disney, and all these different fucking ones, and we were like, hey, and everyone was like, no, like we're not interested in that, whatever, like maybe show us something or whatever, and like we'll talk. And he said that they started a Kickstarter to get funding so that they could do one half-hour animated episode, a pilot episode, so that they could be like, all right, here's one episode, then we'll go again and we'll shop it around to different people and we'll show it to them, and now they'll have a half hour to see, and then they can kind of go from there. He said that in the first fucking day, they had a $750,000. He was like, that's like medium animation, not amazing animation, but not shitty animation either. He was like, we were shooting for $750K. He said in the first day, they were already in the millions. And they raised over $11 million. They paid for the whole season.
Oh,
they paid for the entire first season.
That's awesome.
And then they went to fucking Amazon and they were like, we have the first season. And then Amazon was like, cool, yeah, we'll let you. Cause I've known people, cause I've seen a movie on Amazon that was like basically a student film. Mm-hmm. So like if you make something and Amazon's like, yeah, sure, fuck it. Like, I don't care. Because it's like, yeah, cool, put it on here. And if 100 people fucking watch it, we get a cut of people watching it from ads or ad revenue, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So they were like, oh, you have a whole season and you have a big following? Yeah, we'll let you fucking put it on our streaming service. And yeah, right after it, like the way that it fucking exploded, Amazon was like, season 2 is coming. And they were like, oh, we're paying for this motherfucker. So, like, they paid for their... I mean, I'm saying they, but it's like their fans paid for season 1 to get made. And they were making jokes on the podcast because they were like, none of you were like, $11 million. I'm just gonna fucking leave with this money. like they were making like all these jokes, and Sam was like, no, like, you know, like we did it for the fans, and the fans really, obviously the fans showed out to fucking get this shit done. And he was like, instead of a pilot, we got an entire season done. And think about that shit. If Sam was like 750 grand is a medium animation for one episode, and they only did 9 for the season, that they probably upped it and got better animation.
Hell yeah.
And, you know, maybe they fucking spent like $1 million an episode or some fucking shit. And it's just like,
Was each episode 30 minutes or was it longer? I thought they were like...
no, they were all about like 30-minute
30 minute
episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I keep confused. I keep forgetting Invincible was the one that had like hour-long episodes.
Yeah. So yeah, that was nuts. I didn't know that. I was like, oh, that's really cool that like they actually raised money, and they had planned to be like, well, we'll get one episode, and if we can get one episode, maybe somebody will pick it up, and then we can do the rest of the season. And instead they were like, fuck it, we'll just do the whole goddamn season. And then Amazon's like, yeah, sure. And then that fucking blew up. They were like the number one show on Amazon. And Amazon was like, all right, season 2, here you come, and we're paying for it.
Yeah.
So
do it as fast as you guys can. Cool. Let's go. I mean, and this is like a thing. I don't want to sound like a needy fan who just wants it more. They have everything they need. They
yeah, it's not like anime.
Season 1 campaign Critical Role is done. They have it all. So it's just like I mean, yeah, it might be. I don't know how much Matt remembers, and I mean, I don't know. Like, I doubt maybe they threw away their notes from the first campaign or whatever. But it's just like, you know how the story went, you know how it goes. So it's just now kind of like scripting it out. But you have like, you don't have to.
Well, I mean, books have come out, so I'm sure that I'm sure that this shit it's probably been transcribed. Somebody probably has the job of transcribing the episodes.
Oh my gosh, that's insane. Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, it's not like they did all 141 in one sitting. They probably did one a week. I mean, it's still 4 hours of transcribing.
I mean, not one a week. If anything, they transcribe. You could get 2 done in like a day.
Right.
4 hours, that's an 8-hour day. That's normal. That's normal work, just transcribing. All you're doing is typing and watching an amazing show.
Yeah, but it's a fucking lot. I mean, there's probably a lot of pausing and shit. But anyway, like, I'm sure like somebody had that type of job. So they got tons of material. I mean, like, you bought that book of the
Chronicles of Alexandria, and I brought Tal'Dorei Reborn.
Right. So like they probably have tons of the stuff from the campaign in those books.
Yeah. Yes, they do. Yes.
So
I know a lot more stuff. I'm not gonna say that I care or wish to know, just because I know more stuff further ahead. I mean, I was already, neck deep into this stuff. Just kind of going through it and like researching a bunch of it because I thought it was awesome in general.
Yeah. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to like mention that real quick. So, but anyway, anyways, and so butts. So many butts. See more butts?
See more butts.
Nobody see more butts than you.
Uncle Tony.
Heavyweights. Like we always say, reach out to us. Let us know what you would like to hear us talk about. Whatever. We say that at the end of every episode. And we had friend of the show reach out and say that they wanted us to talk about conspiracy theories and more
like nerdy ones,
not who killed JFK. We all know that was the FBI. No, anyway. No, I'm just kidding.
That was the CIA.
Yeah.
Immediately, get down. They just busted. Oh, FBI. I love those.
Is that
memes.
a weed?
I love those memes where someone's typing something into Google and then like it's something like super.
The FBI comes
FBI's up. like turn your phone off now or whatever.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so yeah, we were gonna talk about different conspiracies. So like he had mentioned stuff from like Disney and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, I mean the Pixar theory that's been out there for years.
Yeah.
It keeps getting stuff added to it, so I just quickly wanted to touch some of it, maybe go through the timeline real quick. Supposedly, try to get some of the connecting factors, and then you can take over from there.
Can I just want to say one thing though with the Pixar theory, because I mean, you'll go through it now, and maybe it's not in there because maybe they didn't want to do this. How do they throw cars in the mix, though?
All right, so I have that.
Okay, all right. Okay, yeah. All right.
Okay,
Paint the picture for me.
so it starts with the good dinosaur,
Paint me a picture, Jack.
prehistory. No, paint me like a French
Paint
girl.
me like a French girl. Yeah, that's what it is.
All right, lay on the table. Take off your clothes.
Give me the necklace first.
Yeah,
What's it called? The Jewel of the Ocean? Wasn't that a
Uh,
question in something?
yeah, when we played.
Oh, yeah, that one game. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Anyway, no, it's the heart of the ocean.
Yes.
And I thought I was like, it's the heart of the sea, and they're like, it's the heart of the ocean. I was like, God damn it,
Idiot. No, I'm just kidding.
anyway, so it starts with a good dinosaur, prehistoric. The next one in the chronological order is Brave, in the 14th century. Then you get the Incredibles, which is the 1950s and 1960s. Also, Incredibles 2.
Are you sure you're including that? I'm pretty sure in the Incredibles 2, like they're using high tech.
Yes, they have black and white TVs and shit. The Incredibles is set in like the 50s and 60s. Yes.
Even with all of Syndrome's technology in the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's what's fucking tripping you up, not the fact that they're superheroes.
The superhero thing is different. You could be a superhero in any time and place. That's why you have the prehistoric Avengers. That's not like technology has nothing to do with a superpower, unless you're getting it from
And
an
they're super
experiment.
smart people.
No, yeah, but okay. I didn't think it was set back then because I thought I saw more. Like I could have sworn like Violet's using like a cell phone, which is not in the 50s and 60s.
No, she's not.
Even in the second one, that's why I'm saying like I could maybe give it to you that it was set there in the first one, but I felt like the second one kind of moved it up. Because don't they go to like a smart house, and like Mr. Incredible's trying to control the house with like a giant like iPad and stuff. Again, you're talking about people who are super intelligent or whatever, but
The Incredibles is set in 1962, the first one.
okay. And the second one can't be that many years after because I'm pretty sure Violet's still in high school. It literally picks up right where the first one
Ends.
yeah.
It's on, the date is on the newspaper that Bob's reading.
All right, well, anyways,
It
continue.
says 1962. Anyway, like I said, the when they show the TV screens, it's black and white and stuff. When they all he's getting sued and stuff.
It's time for the secret identity to become the only
Yes,
identity. Mrs.
yes.
Sansweet didn't want to be saved. Mrs. Sansweet didn't ask to be saved. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So the second movie takes place right after. So how the fuck could it be like in the 2000s?
I don't know. There was too much future tech for me to think that it was in the 60s.
Nah, baby, nah. First of all, James Bond, the originals were all set back in the 50s and 60s, and they had all the fucking watches and pens and secret agent shit.
That's all spy shit, baby. Yeah, that doesn't count.
It does count.
That's all underground. We don't know nothing about that.
All right, Luca is also set in the 50s and 60s in Italy, obviously.
I thought it was France.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Then it jumps to the 90s, Toy Story 2. Then Finding Nemo in 2003, Ratatouille in 2007. Here's one that hasn't come out yet, but is set in the 2000s. Turning Red will be set in the 2000s. We got 2010 for Toy Story 3, and we know that because Andy's going to college. Up 2011, Inside Out 2015, Finding Dory 2016, then Toy Story 4 2018.
Did you just skip Finding Nemo? It just wasn't in there?
No, I said that. That's 2003. That's number 8. It was after Toy Story 2.
Oh, okay.
So then Toy Story 4 in 2018, Coco in 2018, Soul in 2020. Then, if you recall, what happens to the humans in WALL-E?
They all got fat and
They're all in space.
Yeah.
Which leaves Cars in the 2100s. That's after Soul.
So they're saying Cars is in 2100 with the humans in space?
Yeah. So basically the cars become well, I mean, we have like smart cars now. So like the cars basically become like sentient, and it's like, because you never see fucking humans. They basically have human jobs in
Okay,
Cars.
okay. But you do know how Wall-E ends, though, right?
Yes,
How does it end, Junior?
with the plant being brought back down to Earth and the humans coming back to Earth.
Yes. And what the hell does Earth look like for, like...
It's destroyed.
It's destroyed, which
Okay.
is why they're in space.
Hold
so how
on.
the hell are we going to
Hold
say
on,
Cars
hold
takes
on.
place there?
Cars takes place in the 2100s. Cars 2 and Cars 3 also takes place in the 2100s. Wall-E takes place in the 2800s. The humans have been in space for a long fucking time before they come back.
Wall-E takes place in the 2800s, you're saying?
Yes. Which
Okay,
means Cars...
But that sounds like then the cars are the one that fucked up the Earth, not the humans.
Well, the humans left the Earth because the shit was already getting fucked up. Think about it. If the ozone gets fucked up, why would that affect the cars?
It wouldn't affect the cars.
Right,
If
so then
anything,
the cars can keep...
A lot of people blame the cars.
Right. So then the cars keep fucking up the Earth while the humans are like, well, we can't live here
but
anymore.
This is going more like scientific instead of just the Pixar theory. The Earth getting fucked up doesn't mean that it would still stay pretty. Like, there'd be a reason why, like with the ozone layer being fucked up, it would eventually fuck with everything else.
But think about it. Right when the humans leave, it like if you leave a car sitting from today till tomorrow, the moss doesn't grow over the car and rust and all that shit.
Also,
that takes time.
The humans are in a space station that isn't that far from Earth, which means, like, I don't think
that doesn't mean they're just constantly watching, like, whoa, what's going on down there?
I don't think they would miss, like, oh, hey, the cars have become sentient down there, and it doesn't look as bad. They would have gone back sooner.
I don't know. No, again, why would they go back? If the ozone's fucked up, the ozone's fucked up.
Like, Wall-E was a small trash compactor, and you even see him, like, next to one of, like, because you'll see, like, a bigger version of Wall-E that takes a bunch of trash, compacts it, and then Wall-E grabs, like, a bunch of, like, little trash and compacts it, like, himself. The world is completely destroyed. So it's just like, if you're saying
but that
Cars,
takes place 700 years
but
after.
if you're saying Cars happens in 21, like, no, I think that's the one that's not there, because specifically, like, number one, you don't find out how long.
Well,
the
I'll
humans
get to
have
the
been
connective
gone.
tissue. Right now, I'm giving you the timeline.
But but this is like again, Cars ends up being that one movie where they're just like, let's put it at the end, and then they can't really question too much about it, and it's like,
All right, so after Cars 3 is Wall-E. Then it's A Bug's Life in the year 3000.
no.
That would be after the humans come back.
Why not just put it, like, earlier, though? First of all, the humans...
they could have said it...
The humans still have, like, when they come back, they still have all their future technology. And, like, a bug's... Oh, no, I'm thinking of ants. When ants, like, comes... Like, when it zooms out, you see that they're, like, just next to, like...
The only thing that you see in A Bug's Life is a sombrero, which is where Hopper and his gang is hanging out. And because
and you get to see, like, their anthill island.
Yeah, a lot of times I also did that, like, oh, this is ants, right? And I'm watching Bugs Life. I'm like, wait, no, there is no part where there's a picnic.
No,
and
that's ants.
that's ants.
I mean, A Bug's Life, you could put it anywhere. It, like, on a macro scale, it doesn't really matter. You could put A Bug's Life anywhere.
They put Onward in the year 4000s, which, again, there's a whole 1,000 years, so it's like...
That's, okay, and in that one, that'd be like there was an extinction level event because that, like, there's fantasy people. Like, it isn't... Like, forget for a second that it's magic. There's fantasy
I mean,
people.
there's magic and Brave.
Yeah. There's, like, but it's not, like, a prominent thing, though. Like, there isn't, like, it is an Onward.
Right.
And also the same thing, I mean, you could just throw in the fact that, like, if there were heroes in the 60s and all of a sudden they're all gone now, like, when Toy Story starts up and just no one's going to talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, at the end they all kind of come back, but, like, they could have just eventually been like, let's just go back into hiding and be like, fuck this.
Hiding again. Yeah.
So all right, anyway,
it that way,
and then the last two is Monsters University and then Monsters Inc., which is set in the 4500s, which that one is the one where I'm kind of like, that part I don't really understand because
that one's wrong too.
It's already like they're in their own universe.
Yes,
so like
exactly. That one they fucked up. Like they fucked up on that one, especially because number one, when at the end of the first movie, when Randall like gets stuck in the real world, he's clearly in the South, and you hear that kid go, "Mama, another gator's in the house. Another gator. Give me that shovel." It's just like they're in the South. They're in the South, Everyone knows that. It's not hard to believe at all. Again, they could have put that anywhere and it would have been fine. And they fucked that up by putting it in. This is in the 4500s. They're in a different universe.
All right. So the order explained. Where do we? Okay, so then it goes. Brave is important to the Pixar theory because it explains how magic caused creatures to become sentient. In the Pixar universe, animals behave like humans sometimes. Brave explains why that is. The magic in the film makes all the animals sentient. We also see this with the inanimate objects in the witch's cottage. These objects are brought to life by magic in the film, which is why they behave like humans sometimes also. This can also explain why there are so many talking animals and characters with human-like features in Pixar films. It all started with Brave. The idea is that over time, more and more sentient creatures were brought to life by magic. Eventually, they outnumbered humans in the Pixar universe, causing them to take over. The key word is sentience. This is a crucial concept in the Pixar universe. Due to what begins in Brave, we can understand the spark of why both animals and objects would eventually grow to have more feelings and emotions in modern times. Think of Brave as planting the seeds. The witch is also a crucial part of the theory, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
Now, how much is this? Were you just going to read through all of this, motherfucker?
No.
Well, you just read all of that first part, didn't you?
Yeah. So they've got...
I mean, like, that's fine enough to kind of say, like, again, most of these movies you can kind of definitely connect. And, I mean, Pixar's animation
Okay,
style
so
is always
wait,
the same.
all right, so then here's the by and large, a looming antagonist in all of its organization known as By and Large. We see this in a number of different Pixar films, most notably in WALL-E, but we see it early in Up, when Carl was forced to give his house away to the corporation, which was By and Large. According to WALL-E, By and Large is the corporation primarily responsible for polluting Earth and wiping out all life. It's no coincidence that we see it in multiple films. Then there's stuff with machines taking over, and then we get Boo. So Boo is one of the more important characters according to the Pixar theory timeline. In Monsters Inc., she learns about the future and how there are doors, that they are the key to how she found Sully and a key part of time travel. It is therefore reasonable to assume that she may have traveled back in time at some point and became the witch from Brave. This I'd heard of before. That the witch in the movie Brave is actually Boo that traveled back in time as an old lady, because there are Sully carvings in the witch's house when Merida goes to visit the witch and she gets the pie or the pies, whatever. There's a part where there's carvings of Sully in some of the wood, like on a support beam or whatever in the witch's house. So then,
What does that have? Like, how the hell are they connecting time travel to that shit? The doors are like a step from the monsters world into the human world. They never talk about any type of time travel. Like, they're just grasping at straws there. And we all know that, like, Pixar's notorious for putting Easter eggs for their movies and stuff in it, but...
Yes, they are. But so that's kind of where the Pixar theory started, is that, like, people started to look into these Easter eggs more as, like, this is how they're all connected. I mean, Pizza Planet is, like, in every fucking Pixar movie. It's even in Luca. There's like a guy on a, like, real quick on a speed bike or something that has like it's got like Pizza Planet.
A Vespa, you mean?
Yeah. Pixar has confirmed that there are a lot of connections between the films, that they might even take place in the same universe. However, it would be a stretch to suggest that their confirmation suggests that this theory, it's an overarching plot, is accurate. Like, yeah, there's a lot of Easter eggs.
Yeah. I mean, well, it also comes down to, like, it's just a theory, but very easily, the writers and everybody that make it can just be like, no. And then that's just it. It just becomes canon because, again, like, if you're not the creator of it, you don't... It's kind of like the same thing, like, when, somebody wants to ask, like, George Lucas some, like, Star Wars question. Whatever he says, he breathes into existence for his, universe.
Right. So, like, people were like, so how the fuck does Luca fit in this whole thing? And, like, Luca also has magical creatures. So it gets the tie to Brave, and then it ties to the future of Onward. That, like, magic is starting to take place again on Earth.
Yeah, but Luca, you already said Luca happens in the 60s?
Yes.
Well, okay, the Earth has to be destroyed first and everything wiped out for all the magical creatures to come back, especially since Onward apparently takes place after WALL-E.
Well, yeah, but the magical creatures in Luca live in the sea.
Yes, so, but I mean, yeah, but like sea pollution is a real thing too.
Well, yeah.
Like, I was with you all the way up until, like, the end, because, like, the stuff that happens, like, with WALL-E, the humans returning, and then for them to just talk about, oh, like, cars happened, like, before this, and it's like, I don't think so. I don't think the world would look that nice if humans dipped out. If we dipped out, it was for a reason.
Yeah.
And I don't think cars would just magically fix it.
So there's, like, the thing, so, like, the thing with so... I'll just quickly read this last part. So it's during the Toy Story films, we learned that there is some dissatisfaction among certain toys in their culture, which certain toys are like villains in Toy Story. Mm-hmm. They're obviously not fans of the current status quo. Therefore, it is reasonable to assume that at some point the toys or the inanimate objects take over. It is likely that this happens after the world has been polluted by and large corporation, either in response to the machine revolt or prior to it. Humans are no longer on the planet. This makes way for the machines to fully take over and develop a culture of their own. This is where we get all the Cars films and characters like Lightning McQueen. In fact, it's likely that the machines completely took over human society because in WALL-E we see that they are carefully controlling humanity, keeping them placated and dependent on their machines, which is true. And yes. WALL-E, the machines, they're trying to stop WALL-E from fucking, like, making the humans not just be big, fat, gelatinous blobs that just lay in their fucking chairs all day.
However, though, according to what you're reading, Cars happens before WALL-E. If those were flipped, you could say that they left and then the machines took over and, like, got rid of all the humans so that they could fix the world, and then they live there. But also, I don't know if you noticed, only the Cars are alive in Cars. Also, like, I mean, isn't Airplanes part of that too, and Fire Rescue and all that shit? Isn't that in the same universe as Cars?
The movie Airplanes?
Well, it's like Airplanes, Fire and Rescue. Isn't that the same? That's the same universe, I think.
I don't know if that's Disney. I'm gonna look it up real quick. That's Airplane, which those movies are fucking hilarious. Animated. Yeah, it is Disney. So yeah.
No, yeah. So it's not Pixar. It's Disney.
It's not Pixar, but it is Disney. I don't know why. They look like the fucking
either
Cars
way, it
from
wouldn't
Cars.
be. I mean, Disney owns Pixar or whatever, but it wouldn't be part of the Pixar thing. Okay, fine. Anyways, though, like, not all machines though are sentient. It's just the Cars.
Well, they don't show us that they like. Why the fuck are they going to show us Toy Story or toys?
It's not about. I'm not talking about toys. I'm talking about just other machines. The only thing that's alive is Cars.
That's not true. The fucking cows are what?
The cows are tractors.
Yeah, that tractor's not a fucking car.
It's an automobile. You could get a DUI on it. It's a car.
I mean, I guess.
The bikes probably aren't allowed, but you'd also get a DUI on a bike. Be careful out there.
The semis. One of the Italian guys is a forklift.
Still a vehicle. It's still a vehicle.
But still, they're not all cars.
And his name is Luigi.
But I'm saying is like that we see the perspective through them. Also, there are helicopters aren't they?
I'm happier than a tornado in a trailer park. Mater's, on a helicopter, right?
Isn't there like a part in the helicopter where like somebody gets
But see, that's the other thing. I have no idea if the helicopter is alive or if there's another car and they're driving the helicopter.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like all the cars have jobs. Like the cars are the ones that.
But either way, it's vehicles. That's why I'm just saying, like, I would assume like they would take on like some different type of form or be like other things too.
I don't know. Like, what are you upset? Like, what other big machines are you like? Why isn't there other machines?
Just level with me. In anything else that you know that machines become sentient, try to take over, whether or not there's a war or whatever, is it vehicles that they take the form of?
Well, no. Those are the things that are made. If you're talking about like Terminator, we made robots. The robots didn't make themselves.
There's a bunch of things, but eventually they start mass producing themselves too, and they could become anything they want. They don't become vehicles. If anything, they probably make vehicles, but then they drive them.
Yeah, but anyway, this is the theory. Again, I'm not saying that I agree.
I'm just giving my opinion on the fact that I feel like they really, number one, they fucked up with how that's flipped, because it doesn't make sense to me at all. Again, if humans dipped out, it's because the world was fucked, and
but I've already explained that. If the world is fucked for humans, that doesn't mean it's fucked for machines.
But it wouldn't stay like that. It
would stay like that. God damn it! It would stay like that for a long time. Fucking cars. Fucking Lightning McQueen doesn't go from being 50 to fucking 175. The Cars movies take place in like a fucking 7-year period.
They would have to do a bunch of terraforming to have to fix all of that, though. Like, and maybe if that would work. I mean, I don't, like, we're just talking about the ozone because that's shit that's real to us. Who knows what happened to, like...
All the roads were still the same, because this would be like literally right after the humans left. Like, the Cars movies doesn't take place over 100 years. It takes place over like 10 years. So everything would still look the fuck same. The fucking ozone, they never once pan up and go, man, the fucking ozone is all fucked up. Like, that, they don't have to talk about that because they're fucking cars.
Yes, but like when you talk about shit like that, and again, this is more scientific than theorized, is like with that being fucked up, it's going to have huge ramifications to the world.
Yeah, but they never show us
and the
ocean.
I'm pretty sure they've said a bunch of times, like, even if we stop destroying the ozone, not going to fix itself. Whatever it's at now is what it stays at. It can't get fixed. Or at the very least, we don't have the technology to fix it.
But the first movie takes place in Radiator Springs, which is in the middle of the fucking country. So we don't see the fucking ocean.
Yes,
we don't see the polar ice caps.
I also explained the fact that we wouldn't dip out if it still looked like that. You just said that like maybe this took place 10 years right after we left. We wouldn't have left if it was still that nice. It doesn't seem like that world is in any type of peril.
Again, like in the world that we see it, there is no peril. Mm-hmm. In the world that they show us, there isn't. But like, this could be literally right away. Like, I don't understand why you can't get past it. Like, if the first Cars movie could take place the day after the humans left. Literally the fucking day.
I mean, no, it wouldn't.
Why?
There's a clear backstory, so it wouldn't be able to take place like a day like after they left. And like then
Lightning McQueen was already fucking
yeah, exactly. And then that would mean that there were sentient cars before the humans left.
Yeah. I mean, there's already been sentient because we're talking about Toy Story. The toys are actually alive.
The toys are alive.
And that's like in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about Cars taking place in the fucking year 2100. Yeah. Which would be, it's not that like far off. We're 80 years away from that. So like, you and I aren't going to be around for that shit. But our grandkids probably will.
Modern technology, we're gonna become cars, and then we'll just stick around.
No, well, never said anything about the humans becoming cars.
Maybe that's what happened. The next step in evolution, baby, we become cars.
That seems like a downgrade. I'm on all fours and I can't fucking do anything except drive.
No, I mean, they look like they could do a bunch of shit. They were basically using their tires as hands in a lot of the shit that they were doing.
Not really. They can't grab anything. Ka-chow! Ka-chow is all we're fucking doing.
That was a lot for just the Pixar theory. I had a bunch of other stuff set up too. I was going to talk about a bunch of video game ones. But
Go ahead. Just fucking rattle them off.
We'll just rattle some quick ones up. Well, here's one that you would know. Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
There's a theory that Wander, like, because everyone's just like, oh, Wander and
boy?
like, and, yeah, Wander and the girl that like he like ends up resurrecting basically. That they're not lovers at all. There's a theory that she doesn't even know who he is, and there's another part of it that suggests that she was killed in a sacrifice. And there's a theory that states that he's the one that had to do it, felt so guilty about it that he went into those forbidden lands to talk to, I think it's like Dorman.
But doesn't he have to kill? He has to kill all the Colossus.
Yeah,
then at
Dorman.
the end, doesn't he become a Colossus?
Yeah, like he doesn't know what he's doing, but yeah, once that happens, he turns into a Colossus, then gets sealed, and then all those people show up. Because like, and the reason this theory comes to play is that if they were like, because like
God, that game is so fucking good.
Yeah, I know. Because Wander and Agro are like so close and like knit, like you could see their friendship throughout the whole freaking game. When she wakes up, she acts like she doesn't really recognize Agro. So if like they were a couple, she would be like more familiar to him.
I mean, she also could have just lost her memory.
Perhaps, yeah. There's not too much talking that happens in it.
Just Agro.
Agro! Agro! Oh my god, just so gut. I mean, like he survives at the end, but like it was so gut wrenching when he falls off after you had been there forever. But yeah, some people say like either he was the one that killed her or he was obsessed with her, and then when she got killed, came out of the woodworks and was like, "I'll revive you." But that's one of them.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it all sounds creepy, but it's like he could have been in love with her and she just never knew about him.
Yeah.
Like either way, he was like, I mean, she was dead. He could have just been like, all right, I'm just going to do this just because I love her.
There's also a theory that before the first 3 games, Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, that there was a massive Pokemon war or just like a war in that universe, which is why Ash doesn't have a dad and Gary's an orphan. And it's just like, and that's why they're letting these 10-year-olds just go out on an adventure, because it's just like, well, there's so many, and it's just like a lot of the like men that you meet are like a lot older or whatever, because most of like the
like
trainers,
Professor Oak,
yeah,
all the trainers are just kids.
The trainers you battle are like kids, besides like the
except Surge. Surge isn't a kid.
Well, Surge and then Giovanni, but that's why like Giovanni is part of like an underground illegal thing. That's why like they probably skipped out of like the war or whatever.
Yeah, but like Brock is just like another teenager.
Yeah, Brock's just a kid. Yeah. But I thought that one was kind of cool.
There was a war where the Pokemon fought, or was it a war for?
What if it was
like a war for? Like there were some people that like Pokemon should basically just be slaves, and then the other people were like, should not, and then there was a huge war about it.
There's a fan theory that in Bloodborne, you are drinking like menstrual blood or injecting yourself. It's just like everything's kind of like revolved around like blood in that game a lot. I mean, the name is Bloodborne, but yeah, there's a theory that it's menstrual blood, and then like parts of it, like I mean, what you get like
give some fucking give some context here. You gave me context upstairs.
Yeah, you get 4 umbilical cords that you find.
Yeah,
there's like, I mean, one of the bosses in the DLC crawls out of like a placenta, the Orphan of Kos. Then there's the you fight a boss called the Mensis Brain. There's an item called the Mensis Cage. And then there's the Nightmare of Mensis. Mensis, of course, sounds an awful lot like menses, which is the Latin word for menstruation. And then there's an item, like the items you use to upgrade your weapons are called like bloodstones, and they apparently resemble tampons. So it was just like all this stuff. And then, yeah, there's a theory just going around that it's just like, yeah, everything in like all the blood you use for different stuff. Yeah, it's all menstrual blood. That one's like super far out there and messed up.
I mean, there is like a pregnant there's like the
Yes, there's a pregnant girl, and apparently, like, when she's pregnant,
and you fight the wet nurse.
when she's pregnant, she stops giving you blood vials because she's no longer menstruating. So, like, it's cohesive.
It's all connected.
The-
That's a little disturbing, but
Yeah,
I already have the
super
platinum
disturbing.
on that, so what,
yeah,
who the
it doesn't
fuck
matter.
cares?
We don't have to go back to it.
Unless there's a Bloodborne 2.
They say that the Elder Scrolls games and the Fallout, I mean, they're made both by Bethesda. They say that those are in the same universe, just obviously one takes place on one end of the timeline while the other one takes place on another.
I mean, there's fucked up creatures in both of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but the other one's more because of the radiation and stuff. Silent Hill 2, like, big spoiler for this one.
Pyramid Head is you.
It's not you.
just kidding.
It's the entire game is like you're kind of like haunting yourself almost. Like, cuz you find out at the end of the game that you killed your wife, and so like Pyramid Head is basically your subconscious coming to like punish you. And at the beginning of the game, when you pull up in your car, like the theory is that your dead wife was in the was in the trunk. That's a big one that's been going on for a while too. And then one of my two of my favorite theories have to do with like the Final Fantasy franchise. The first one being like a quick one to just go through. In Final Fantasy VIII, where you play as Squall, or for a lot of people who play Kingdom Hearts, Leon. There's a point in the game very early on where Squall gets impaled by this ice spike, and they say that like he dies there, and I can't remember who the protagonist female with Squall is, but she's like cradling you, like after you took like this hit, and then they say like everything after that becomes like way more intense, like way more magic and all this stuff, and they say that girl ends up becoming Ultimacia, who is known as like a time witch basically. And so like she became this witch Ultimacia because Squall had died. But yeah, it says like the whole
Renoa?
Yeah, Renoa. I think her last name.
Artily?
Yeah. I was about to say her last name is Hearts something, I think. But yeah, it says like everything afterward is just like Squall's like dead, and you're just playing like through like this part of like this dream world afterlife that doesn't really happen, because instead it's actually just Renoa becomes like Ultimation. She's trying to do all this stuff to hopefully prevent like Squall's death or something. And then there's another one that's like funny. In Final Fantasy VII, for those of you who have never played the game, huge spoiler. I mean, this game's super old, but I guess also like you could have been playing the new game that came out and you're just waiting on pins and needles like I am for all the new additions to eventually come out so we can get the full effect of the game. Aerith dies. Like, she's killed by Sephiroth.
Mm-hmm.
And a
Okay,
lot of,
I already knew that.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, don't spoil it. I'm playing it.
and a lot of people are just like, why didn't they just use a Phoenix Down? So there's like one kind of like, and that's like a funny thing to say, because number one, who knows like how canon like those types of items are? Because I mean, obviously they're there for more of like the battle system of the game for you to use during a fight, not necessarily to use them like outside of a fight. You could think of it more like in D&D, when you fall to 0 hit points, you become unconscious, and then a Phoenix Down brings you back out of being unconscious versus like actually being killed. So, but there was a theory that states there's a cinematic in Final Fantasy VII when she dies. Cloud is like standing in like this like kind of like lake or riverbed with her, and he's like holding her, and then he lets her go and she sinks to the bottom. Dead bodies don't sink, they float. So the theory is that Cloud killed her and he's actually like pushing her down, instead of versus like she like sank to the bottom, because if she was dead she would just be floating, she wouldn't sink.
I mean, even live bodies float too.
Yeah. As long as there's air in your like, what was it? I think my biology professor used to say that. He's like, drowning is one of the dumbest ways to die, because as long as there's air in your lungs, you'll float. And people that, I mean, either way, like I'd probably drown, because the thing is, you panic. Panic is what causes people to drown. You freak out, and then you start drinking all that water, and then eventually it gets into your lungs, and now bye-bye air, hello water. But yeah. So that's a little nerdy tidbit of information for you. Don't panic. As long as there's air in your
Stay
lungs,
calm.
you'll float.
And who was your biology teacher?
Yeah, it was Mr. Lavelle.
Shout out to Mr.
Shout
Lavelle.
out to Mr. Lavelle. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's. I mean, I feel like we hit some of the video game theories. Definitely went hard on that.
Yeah,
Pixar theory.
James, I hope you enjoyed the.
Sorry we didn't do the tinfoil hats, but Junior
Yeah.
said it could possibly mess with the.
Well, yeah,
the
because
green
we have a
screen.
green screen, so I was just like, it's probably gonna reflect a
would
lot,
never
and
know
then
what
like
to do.
our head will just disappear, and then it'll just look weird. So
Just the top half of our heads
yeah.
just missing.
that's the only reason why we didn't do the tinfoil hats.
We had the tinfoil though. I want to let you know we thought about it.
Yeah, we had the tinfoil. We had the technology. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Tito, where can I find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at BanditoTito93. You guys can always DM me, reach out to me, talk to me about the podcast, what you like, what you didn't like, what you want to hear, or just talk to me about anything nerdy. I'm very into D&D, so if anybody wants to talk about D&D, I'm all for it.
And you guys can find me at nerdy.bros.inc on Instagram, as well as pops.maniac on Instagram. Again, shoot me a DM. Let me know what you like about the show, what you don't like about the show, what you want to hear us talk about in a future episode. We'd love to hear from you guys. As always, merch in the store. Go ahead and get yourself some cool merch. Support your local nerdy bros. But that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Have a good week. All right.
Yeah, guys, have a good week. Okay, boy.